Literally.
Technically, pizza you don't even have to put in the refrigerator.
I highly disagree.
I thought you were going to highly agree with me.
No, I
Damn
highly
it.
disagree.
Are we recording this part at least? Can we get this on?
Wait, you don't though. I mean, you can. Wait, aren't you supposed to put it
There's
in after?
cheese in it.
Yeah, that cheese been melted and all this.
Oh, that does not change. No.
Did you not do this when you were in your...
Of course I did, but I'm sober now. There's a lot of things that I've changed.
That's true. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, the Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
Got a new episode dropping every Monday and Thursday. Please come check it out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Shane,
Yeah.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh,
All right, Lauren, welcome to
Welcome,
the
Lauren.
Hopeaholics
Nice to see you.
Podcast.
Wow,
for
yeah.
having me.
Yes.
That's our intro.
Okay,
Welcome to the
wonderful.
dungeon.
That's how we
Oh.
do it. That's how we roll.
Chad always likes to lead us in to make sure that we're on.
On track.
Well, if I don't
And
say
recording.
it
We
and
never know.
I can feel Emily. If I don't say something, she's like, I told you guys we've already been recording for like 5 minutes.
Oh.
well.
So, all good though.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank
back, actually, because
Yeah.
Shane and I had the pleasure of meeting you already.
Yeah.
I know.
My whole life story.
I missed it. It was
Well,
a Tuesday night meeting, right? I was in the mountains.
Yeah, and we can dive deeper into that nice bed that you lived in
Oh,
and
yeah.
that nice little room that you had. I mean, I remember some of this stuff. So this is going to
Calling
be
it a room is a stretch, but yes.
there's a pantry.
basically. Yeah.
A pantry. A walk-in pantry.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, living it up.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
But back to the purple hair. Yes, I think you could go purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I think she.
Oh, yeah, my
I gotta
question-
show you guys pictures.
My question was, I was purple before pink, also, but I did like the purple into. I always kind of do an ombre because I have such dark roots, so I feel like it's easier, especially like when you're wearing extensions and stuff. It's easier to blend hair.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
I
But
don't know.
do you guys have to go into the office every day?
No. Do we
Okay.
have to? No. But is there an office for us to go into? When I worked at my old job, I was in the office every single day at my previous brokerage. Every single day I was there. I worked sometimes 7 days a week, months without a day off. Here it's a little bit different at the Oppenheim Group, just because, I'm just going to call a spade. The office is set up fantastically for reality TV.
Sure.
Not so much for actually getting work done.
Okay.
Because it's open desks.
Yeah.
I don't want my competitors to hear me on the phone and how I'm talking to clients and who I'm talking to,
Yeah.
the areas that I'm trying to get into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I do a lot is I cold call.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
all that stuff. And so I'm not going to do that in the office. I have
Yeah.
a home office for that now because I'm like, Yeah. So
So wait, you work for the Oppenheimer Group?
I sure do.
I mean, she's
Is
on the
that-
show.
Kayla.
Damn it,
Get
dude, I was
your-
playing a whole fucking little
Oh.
thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been there
Sorry.
for maybe 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. How did that? How did? Before we go into the mess,
Yeah.
let's go in. I mean, the boys might have already heard this part,
No,
but
I
I'm
didn't.
super
Not
interested.
really.
How did you go into real estate to begin with, and then also the opportunity to be on one of, I think, if not right now, currently, it is the #1 reality show, I think, on television, right?
Selling Sunset, I think is up there. Love is Blind. Those are
Love is Blind is a big
huge
one.
for Netflix.
Yeah.
But we were the most successful spinoff of Selling Sunset so far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just wild to even think about because
Mm-hmm.
we're just such normal ass people that it's bizarre because I am just a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I was maybe 25, I was working for my dad for years and we just butt heads, and
Is he in real estate?
no, he owned a skincare clinic.
Okay.
And so I was in the business with him, doing the business side. He wanted to, he worked so hard my whole life to be able to build something to give to me,
Sure.
so that I never had to work for anybody else ever again. But when it came time for me to actually work there, and he's like, Lauren, you have all the free range, like take this business to the next level. But when it came to actually implementing those things, it wouldn't actually happen. And so the business never moved. And I was there for like 8 years,
wow.
from, drinking and using to even getting sober and then being sober there for a few years. I was just like, I am not doing all this work on myself to be in the same level in life. Like, one of my biggest fears is living a mediocre life.
Sure.
And so I was like, I need a big girl job.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to one of my friends. This girl that I met in sober living was one of my best friends. We moved out of sober living into her brother's condo. He was also sober. He got into real estate a couple years before me. And he was like, I was telling him, like, God, I just need a big girl job. Like, I don't know what to do. I just want to make enough money to invest in real estate someday, own a bunch of properties, and like retire that way,
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I would never recommend real estate to anyone, but I actually think that you could do this job, and I think that you'd be good at it. And the next day I signed up for school. I'm a slightly impulsive. And so when I have an idea, I'm like, okay, I gotta do it. I gotta get that itch out of me. And so I signed up for classes. It doesn't take much education to like get through that process. And then I got into real estate. I was working for an agent in Huntington Beach so that like I could totally quit my job with my dad and work full-time in real estate, being an assistant, learning the ropes, putting my head down, tampering my ego down, and just learning.
Yeah.
And I was, I like to think that I was doing well for myself, the best that I've ever done financially.
Sure.
My entire life. And to go from someone who was living in a pantry to, to having that many zeros in my bank account, I was like, shut the fuck up. This is amazing. And so after a few years of doing that assistant/agent role, I get a DM on Instagram from one of the producers of Selling Sunset.
Shut up.
I thought it was fake. I didn't respond for like a week.
For sure.
So I was like, oh, it's
yeah, I would think it was fake.
Yeah. Sometimes you get weird stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And I was just like, eh. And then they messaged again, and I was like, I sent it to my girlfriend. We all have that friend who's like an FBI agent,
sure,
right? And so
Nancy Drew.
That's my
Yes.
wife.
Yeah, my mom.
That's my wife. Anything you need,
Right?
send it over.
I'm
to her.
pretty good at it too, but she's the expert in reality TV.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, find out if this is real.
Yeah.
And so it turned out to be real. This was in November of 2020. COVID, it's lockdown, and I do this Zoom interview. I go get my hair blown out.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I was like, this is
Yes.
something that's at least going to be fun to tell the grandkids that I interviewed for this thing once. I didn't think in a million years that they would want me
Sure.
because I'm sober.
Oh yeah.
I'm boring. Like, truthfully, I've worked really hard to have a boring life. Like, that's actually like the biggest blessing for me, is to have that peace of mind today, And I was very honest with the producers when I was also on like 3 Red Bulls though.
How many years of sobriety did you have at that point of that first interview?
Like 9.
9 years?
9 years, yeah.
Damn. Okay.
9
That's
years.
amazing.
Yeah. And so I was already like in it. You
yeah.
know? And so there's no
Yeah.
changing who I am at
Sure.
that point. Like, I've worked real hard to get there. And I mean, if you ask me, I genuinely think they were hoping that I would fail in some
Of course.
way, shape, or form. I think, I also told them like, hey, like old Lauren wanted to be on. Do you remember Bad Girls Club?
Oh, yeah.
On MTV?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to be on that show. And if you know me today, that is like the opposite
For sure.
of who I am now, which is so funny. But that's who I was, So I think they were hoping like old Lauren would kind of come out a little bit, but that didn't happen. And I think there's enough of those personality types on these types of shows that I was really hoping, because once I did get casted, they, I was like, okay, maybe.
Wait,
they
so it
want
was
something
the
different.
first Zoom and then what?
Well, after the first Zoom, I didn't hear for months
Okay.
from them.
So did you think like, oh, they just went
Yeah,
another
I didn't
way?
even think about it.
Okay.
Honestly, it was like my whole purpose was just like, just do the interview.
Yep.
That's fun, and that's it. Right. And then I think it was maybe February, their assistant emailed me and they were like, oh, they want to talk to you again. Are you available for Zoom? And I was like, okay, this is weird. And they previously also asked for like childhood photos of me. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, what's happening? And so they got on the Zoom and they basically said, sorry, the office got shut down again because there was another outbreak of COVID and, you didn't hear from us. You must have been wondering. And I was like, I was not. And they were like, oh, and by the way, we want you on the show. And I'm not going to lie, instantly my face fell. And I was like, oh, so excited. And they were like, are you sure you're excited? Because you don't look excited. Right. But in the back of my head, like, I know my husband was not really on board. Yeah. Nice. A lot of my family were all like, what are you even doing? Because they know me, And I think my husband was kind of afraid that it was going to change me. It's like the reality TV curse, and we were engaged. You know what I mean? Like we were just about to get married.
Yeah, a lot of people get divorced on reality TV.
Even on my show.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like a thing, but it felt like I was almost having to defend myself to the people around me, saying like, gosh, like, don't you know who I am at my core? Like, I'm not going to allow something to change who I am. Right. And there was no other way than to say like, something inside me really wants to take this risk and see if the juice is worth the squeeze. The whole point is to try to increase your brand.
Exactly. Which is more money to sell property. Right. Which is going to be more money in mine and your bank account, sweetheart.
I mean, that was the initial thought.
Yeah.
I wish that it turned out that way. It didn't exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that was my whole thinking. It was like, I'm going to bring us to the next level, like sacrifice, like, myself and look like a fool on TV for us, And I also thought like, okay, there's not a lot of women who look like me, Asian American, mixed race, that's also sober. Like there's not a lot of publicly sober Asian people on TV or otherwise. And so I was like, if I can just kind of get who I am out there a little bit, might be able to help one person. And that would just be an extra added bonus to it. And so I did everything that I could to be myself and to prepare myself to be grounded, to go through this process and remain myself. Yeah. And I think I was able to do that. We'll see.
Are you currently on the show still?
We are. I've heard rumors about picking up 4 more seasons. There's been a lot of changes within our cast. Like 3 people left after our last season because it was so awful like to experience. Oh, wow. It was so, I'm not even a dramatic person. I stay far out of all that stuff. And even as someone on the like outside of it, it was like so anxiety inducing on a daily basis. Oh, yeah. Like you talked about, do we have to go in the office all the time? We could. Most people usually would come in more often, but there's a lot of people who don't like each other. And so like people always ask, is the drama real? I wish it wasn't. Because these are real friendships, real coworkers that you have to see all the time. And it's like incredibly uncomfortable.
Which makes amazing reality.
Can you relate to that at all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Because there was actually truly a lot of drama on your set. Right?
A lot. Very much so.
Shane and I, we don't know yet. We haven't experienced it yet. We're gonna keep it yet though, because we're eligible too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I would definitely do reality TV.
I think a lot of people would, but then they like to shit on it when what I mean?
I think it's awesome when people do it.
I don't know. I felt like I had to. There was this opportunity
exactly
landed in my lap.
You would be a fool,
right?
Like
any of the people that are telling you stuff, they let them have that same experience.
And you have no idea how things are going to unfold, and so it's like
and other doors that will open.
100%.
And I will say, you know what? I know you said you still have an ability with your personal brand. Even though you may not experienced it right now, a bigger financial gain that you might have hoped for in the beginning, there's still so much more
Yes.
Oh yeah.
potential
Yes.
gain.
I hate the saying like everything happens for a reason because we have self-will, right? Other people have self-will, right? I hate that saying. But what I do subscribe to is that from everything we can learn a lesson.
100%.
And I don't know what the purpose of me doing all this was, because I didn't get to hit certain financial goals that I thought I was going to from this. I didn't get to, show myself as a grounded, sober Asian American individual on the show, because they cut like 90% of me because
it didn't fit the.
It's not the
narrative.
formula,
Yeah.
It's not the formula for the drama and all the things. Literally,
Which is honestly a miss on them, because there was so much drama going on that you definitely could have been showcased even in a C storyline, where it's like, you have your whatever the main one throughout the hour or 42 minutes of the episode, and then you have your little B and then C. It could have totally been highlighted for sure, and it would have. So it's a major miss on their part, I think, just because there's so much drama that it's nice to trickle in a little bit of normalcy.
I feel like all reality TV shows right now are kind of missing the mark on leaving that little bit of extra. There's drama, but there's also
humanity.
Like humanity. There's hope.
Well, also
There's
too,
hope.
if
There's
it's
healing.
really, you're a real cast member, and this is like your real life.
Yeah.
So for them not to at least highlight that a little bit on at least one episode is kind of crazy.
And I'm not sure that like these producers and people in that world realize how many addicts and alcoholics there are out in the real world that would tune in if the word spread that there was a sober cast member.
Totally.
I would be like, bro, I'm watching that every day.
Yes.
And I don't watch reality TV.
Totally.
Yeah.
But I would be in there watching
I mean, that's how I felt, I thought I had an opportunity here to be something totally different in a space full of the same old shit, and I was excited for that. One time we even sat down season 1, and it was me and one of my other castmates, and we were filming at a coffee shop in Laguna. And, you get there, you get a time and you get a place, and you get an outfit vibe, okay? And nothing else. You don't even know who you're going to meet with, nothing. And so when I'm getting mic'd, one of the producers was like, hey, this is us, like an opportunity for us to get to know who you are. We want to know your story. We want to know this. We want to know that. And I was like, yeah, I'm so glad I get to finally talk about these things.
Yourself.
So we do this whole thing, right? It's like 4 hours. I open up the conversation with me and my castmate with like, hey, how are you doing? Like, how's your family? Right. And then the next 4 hours are about me and my story. When I watched it, it was all when I asked my friend, how is she and how is her family? And they cut all of me, the entire 4 hours. And that's when I realized that's not what they want, but I'm not. And so many people asked me too, like, what are you going to change seasons 2 and 3 when we got picked up for 2 more seasons? What are you going to change seasons 2 and 3 to get more airtime? And I was like, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, why would I compromise my integrity for Instagram followers? I'm sorry. That's just not who I am. And like, if someone else wants to do that, like, more power to them, because it's not just about that. It's like, I can see how that can open up more doors for people, and some people on my cast even play a total character.
I do
and I appreciate it.
I was literally gonna say the person at this table that will do that.
Yeah, but the big difference is this: you have peace of mind and lay your head on your pillow at night, and
I don't have a pillow.
You would be like running around like, going crazy.
But some people can separate that.
Yeah.
And I wish that I could. I can't tell you how many times I was getting like my glam done and psyching myself up, being like, today's the day, like we're gonna like go at it, you know what I mean? And then I would get there and I would just be like, this is so petty. Like, I've been through real stuff in life.
Yeah.
Like
this
is
ain't it.
nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't even fake the funk to like pretend to be into this right now. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, we got to get into real drama. Like, we got to be like, it's got to be real stuff.
Yeah.
Thick.
Yeah.
Not this petty surface bullshit.
So basically, does that mean Are you friends with anybody in the cast or not so much?
So at first I started out being like cool with everybody.
Yeah.
And then as seasons go on and time goes on, you know, when we've all met, we met months before filming. So we don't know each other. We're just going off initial vibes and you know what I mean? Who we kind of click with. And then as time goes on, I started to see sides of people where I'm just like, oh, I don't want anything to do with that, you know, because what is the saying? Like you're the sum of,
That's true.
you know, the people around you or whatever. And I was just like, ugh, because even if they were a certain way when I met them, the tiniest bit of fame, and you're on a freaking trash reality TV show. Like, let's be real
changes
here.
people.
You know what I mean? It totally changes people.
Wild.
And I'm just like, how did that, like, whoa, it happened so fast. And like, I was blindsided by it, you know? And so I really have like 2 or 3 people that I talk to regularly. I can see everyone and be cordial.
Of course.
I don't have beef.
Yeah.
But I don't like
She
everyone.
said beef.
Yeah.
She doesn't beef.
I don't have beef.
You don't have any beef.
No, none. None.
And
The commercial was "Where's the beef?"
Is that the Arby's?
That's the commercial.
No, that was Wendy's way back.
We
way
got
back.
the meats.
We got the.
Yeah,
No, that is Arby's.
that's our.
Oh my gosh.
There was a Wendy's commercial back in the day. I don't even think you're old enough. Where's the beef?
I don't
How old do you
remember
think
that.
I am?
25.
Oh, fucking bless you.
She was 25.
Because it's
Yeah,
Asian.
she was
Asian
25
don't raise.
when-
She got sober.
So,
That's what I say. Yeah.
She's got 11 years.
I'm 34.
Oh.
Yes.
And how long have you been married? Like how?
2 years married, 8 years together.
Oh wow.
He's a normie.
Nice.
Never done that before. Best decision of my entire
Totally.
life.
Smart girl.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through the ringer with dating people in the program.
In the program.
Yeah.
Programmers.
Yeah. I don't even really want to give him light, but let's just say
Yeah.
like I literally saved him from a fire. So that
Oh my
was
gosh.
gnarly.
Where did you meet your husband?
So funny story. I met him. I was in sober living
Oh god.
and he was freshly divorced.
Oh
And
wow.
we this was in 2012 and
Okay.
we met on some like dating site.
Tinder.
No, Tinder didn't exist. Like there was no swipey thing.
Oh, okay.
I've never even done anything like
Plenty of
apps.
fish.
Closer.
Harmony.
Okay Cupid. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember Okay Cupid? It was like Okay Cupid, Plenty of Fish, and like Match.com. Like those are the only ones really. And so we met on there, but we were, you know, we were talking or whatever,
Yeah.
but it just kind of fizzled out. We never went on a date. We never met in person. And we were friends on like Facebook or something. I don't even really think Instagram was that big at that point.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think Instagram started just in like 2012.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't even know if I had one yet, you know? And so we were friends on Facebook. And then years later, when I got into real estate, I had just finished real estate school. I still had the purple hair. Like he talks about that all the time. He's like, remember when you had purple hair? I was like, I didn't know you with purple hair. So that means you were stalking me online.
Oh,
you
right.
weirdo. So we ended up connecting because I wanted to learn about the business. I wanted to talk to anyone who knew about real estate because, you know, I come from like nothing. And that hustle mentality still sticks with you when you get sober. You know what I mean? And like, I think that addicts are gifted with being able to go from bottom of the barrel to like super rich in all things in life, you know? And I was like, okay, like now that I actually have something to live for, like, let's go all the way, you know, like, let's do this. And so, so I was like, let me talk to every single person I can about real estate. And so when my husband's profile popped up, he had like his new like real estate headshot or something.
Okay, so he's in real estate.
Yes.
Okay.
So then I messaged him. He says that I slid in the DM.
Right. Mine says that too.
Like
no.
genuinely did not. Like, I mean, technically,
Sure.
yes, I did. But I was business focused. And he was like, she wants me.
Oh yeah.
But now we're married. So
Yeah.
There you go. So he was right.
he ended up winning. Yes.
That's wild. Wait, so then you initially contact him. You guys end up obviously meeting.
Yeah.
And then how long did you guys chat or date before you actually became an item?
7 months.
Wow.
Yeah. 7 months, because I had just gotten out of the relationship where I saved the guy from a fire. And
Wow.
And that was awful. It ended in restraining orders and the whole thing. It was not good. And so I was like back in therapy.
Oh, God.
I was like, all right, why am I 4 or 5 years clean and still doing the same old thing, making the same choices, miserable in certain aspects, you know? And so I was like, I got to change everything. You know what they say, right? Like there's only one thing you have to change, and that's everything. Yeah. And so I changed most things, but I was unwilling to change certain parts of my life. And so I wasn't getting the full results. And it wasn't until I fully surrendered all of that my life literally from that point forward just like took off completely. And it was like, I see it for what it was, which was me just completely surrendering that to my higher power. And the success that I've seen in mind, body, spirit after that I'm like, okay, that's the secret sauce for my life. And I'm going to keep doing that. So when I met my husband, I was like strong arming him. And I was like, I need to prove to the universe that I'm capable of seeing red flags and not jumping into the next relationship over and over again. Right. Like I said, I'm a very impulsive person. So like, I want instant gratification. I like love that, but it never ends me up in a situation that my future self can be proud of. And so, when I finally, like, I think it was second date, I was like, just so you know, I don't want a relationship. And he's like, okay, weirdo. Like, this is our second date. We're getting ice cream. Like, relax, you know?
Like, calm down.
Yeah. And, you know, next thing you know, it was just harder and harder to deny what we had. It was a feeling that I'd never felt before. I always thought that, you know, that feeling of angst in your gut was passion and was love. And what I've learned with my husband now is that it's actually like, it doesn't feel like a lot because it's actually really safe. And someone could easily misidentify that as like, oh, maybe I'm not that into him.
For sure.
And I kind of did that at first, but then I realized like, oh no, I actually feel so good. I feel so myself. I feel so safe around this person, you know, like I've never looked through his phone ever. I've never questioned him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That feeling is so wild when you've come from.
Oh, totally. Messes and chaos.
Totally.
And just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yes, exactly.
This crazy lady.
Right.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
for
it's
you
really,
guys.
yeah.
So, Chad, how are you?
I'm good.
And I'm assuming that he's like super on board with supportive of you and your sobriety and what you got to do for that.
Yeah. You know, he may not fully understand it, but he does his best to try. Like when I was doing your guys' meeting on Tuesday, like he was all signed in with his, was watching with his mom.
Oh my God.
Like your mom was watching that. But no, everyone's really supportive. Even my castmates, when they first found out that I didn't drink, like especially my closer friends in the group, you know, if there was something in a glass in front of me, like they would like smell it, you know, and be like, what is this? And I'm like, you guys, I'm like 11 years. Like, relax.
You're like,
But damn, people with 11 years go out.
Oh yeah.
They do.
Yep,
absolutely.
We only get a daily reprieve.
Yeah, for sure.
We get a daily reprieve, right, Shane?
Is that what it is?
Based on what, Shane?
Based on spiritual something, I think.
Maintenance.
There we go.
So I had to look up what reprieve meant when I first got clean, because my first sponsor had me, you know, doing a lot of my step work alongside a dictionary.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, you know,
Oh,
and
that's weird.
Yeah.
And I learned that, you know, reprieve is a postponement of death, and that's so heavy,
Right?
But it hits. You know, sometimes we need that really intense slap in the face.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like using is death. I'm giving back death. I'm dying. As soon as I put a substance in my body like that, I am dying. So a reprieve is great.
Yeah.
And I like spiritual maintenance. I'm really into it. I think that addicts and alcoholics were actually just really, really, really spiritually sensitive. And we have a big hole that we can fill, that we feel it, like FEEL, and then we try to fill it with
multiple things.
outside things, and the only thing that can make that hole go away is God. Is a power greater than yourself.
Yeah.
Is
Because
a
we all
higher
know that
power.
we've tried to fill that,
For sure.
fill that, you know, and like at the end of the day, we're not actually happy.
At
No.
all.
You know, it's the fool's equation too.
Yeah.
Like if you have X, then you'll be happy. But it's like you got to find that internal happiness
true.
so that you can attract all.
I
those
saw
things.
a little thing on Instagram the other day that talked about how many times have you said, if I accomplish this,
Oh, yeah.
then I'll be happy.
I still
and how
do
many
it.
and how
Yeah,
many
yeah.
times and how many times have you accomplished those things?
Yeah.
And
Totally.
and we're still saying it. We're still
ton.
saying it. So hey, all right. So great. You're in real estate. That was an amazing story. Let's dive into the real shit.
Okay.
The real stuff.
When did you, are you the only child?
No, I have 3 brothers.
Okay. Older, younger?
1 older, 2 younger.
Okay.
Anybody else have any substance use issues?
Oh yeah, my
Oh,
mom.
okay. Oh.
Start.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's this I know.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all coming
So
back
my dad was a single parent.
Okay.
My mom has struggled with alcohol and addiction
Oh, wow.
issues for my entire life, left when I was 2. And basically holidays and weekends for a couple years is how much I knew of her, you know? And I said this on the meeting, but my dad told me from a very young age that if I ever drink or use, that I was going to turn out exactly like her.
Oh, wow.
And so I was never in denial that I had a problem. I was just in denial that I was powerless.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought that like I was
I
going to
got
be,
this.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I just do this and, you know, keep good grades and whatever, then I'll be fine. You know, I'm just going to do my thing for a little while. But no, it got out of hand really quickly. And I ended up basically living in a pantry at grandma's house is what it ended up looking like. But then I called my mom in a blackout and I asked her for help because she was sober at the time.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I came from LA to Orange County and woke up from that blackout in her house. And I've been sober ever since. That was in
Holy
2012.
smokes.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, she didn't get to stay clean. She's still out there, but I learned so much from that. And I've learned the most in this program from what not to do.
Yeah.
They say that it's a monkey see, monkey do program. You got to be careful what monkey you're watching.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I was always told to sit down, take the cotton out of my ears into my mouth and just like observe. Don't listen so much to what people are saying, but how they're acting and how they're treating other people. And I took that very seriously. And I would, you know, I threw myself in the middle of the pack and I just started like watching people. And I learned a lot of I saw when my mom relapsed way before it happened.
Oh, wow.
You know,
yeah,
like
the behavior and
totally.
yeah.
I saw it coming from a mile away. I even told my sponsor, who's friends with her, I was like, I need to separate myself from her.
It gave me chills.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so true
Yeah.
that it happens way before you actually pick up.
Totally. Yeah.
So
And she had like maybe 7 years,
Oh.
8 years, something
wow.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. Crazy.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I was a person with 7-8 years.
Really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Relapsed. Stepped away
Yeah.
away from God.
Yeah.
Thought I was in charge again. Thought I could do it on my own.
He thought he was the shit.
So was it like a slow progress out of things that you were used to doing, or what did that
I mean,
look
it
like?
was, but had you told me 2 weeks before I relapsed that I was going to get loaded in 2 weeks, I would have been like, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There's no way. I love my life too much. There's no way I'm going to throw it all away
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah. Because at that point, it is us giving it up, right? We have the clarity, right? To where it is giving it up. After that, it's like, okay,
After
we're
that,
powerless. all over
after
again.
that, you're powerless
Yeah.
again. You are powerless, and the problem is when you've had time and you've thrown it away, you can really become powerless for quite some time. Because I struggled to get back into the program for like 5-6 years.
Wow.
You know, I'd get some time under my belt, but was never really able to get rid of the shame and the guilt and truly get honest, not with people, because I felt like I was, I could get honest with people, and I worked all 12 steps again, and I just couldn't for some reason get completely honest with myself.
Mm.
And I couldn't completely surrender, so I struggled.
You're still trying to hold on.
I was still trying to hold on to something.
Yeah.
The past,
All of
how
it.
things used to be. There's a lot of shame and guilt coming and having to walk back into the program.
Yeah.
And it's one of the hardest things. Like it's one thing to relapse at 30, 60, 90, even a year.
Sure.
But like when you've built a life from nothing. I was 2 weeks, a month and a half away from 9 years when I threw it all away.
Yeah.
And I was young. I had gotten sober at 22 years old.
Yeah, I was 21. I get it.
So,
It's a big deal for people to get sober young and stay sober.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you sharing that, because sometimes for me, I can get so far removed because I haven't had to relapse yet.
Oh, so
That's
you
not
did it
part of
one and done?
Yeah. And
Wow.
so that's just not part of my story, but I do sponsor so many women, and a lot of them have been retreads over the years, and I will say, from the other side of things, it's like there is no shame or guilt that we're placing on the other person. It's like, it is totally welcoming open arms again. We're just so glad that you're alive and that
Right.
you're
Yeah.
here, I shared with you guys before too, that one of my sponsees, a good friend of mine, passed away very recently. And she's someone who struggled with this disease, and I worked with her for a few, like maybe 2 or 3 years. And she, kept coming back though. She kept coming back and kept coming back. And I'm like, wow, this is like, I was just so incredibly proud that she kept coming back and kept trying, because I have seen that it takes a lot for people to come back sometimes. And some people, you can get stuck out there for a long time if you get lucky enough to get the chance to come back.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm so glad that you did.
I'm not giving up my seat. I'm a retread. You got sober at 21?
Yeah.
You 22?
22, yeah.
Me 23.
Wow.
But then I threw it away. But it's so true how you can get stuck out there from just our own lies that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it comes down to each of us putting one foot in front of the other and getting well. It's up to nobody else.
Yeah.
But we care so much about being accepted, what others think, and having like that guilt or that shame, which unfortunately ends up people never make it back because of that, just like so heavy. But like you said, it is a program that is supposed to be open arms. Like I called my original sponsor back and said, "Hey, I'm back.
You know,
You take me back."
the majority of the people in 12-step programs are very, very kind,
Totally.
loving, caring. They know the pain that you're in
For
to
sure.
walk through the rooms. It for me, what happened in when I say this stuff, I don't like to talk bad about a program at all. I was in Narcotics Anonymous, and I love Narcotics Anonymous, and I love the 12 steps. When I had built such a big life, there were people in the rooms that kind of liked seeing me fall. I don't think
I think that's just humans.
I agree.
I think humans feed off of that. You can see it on social media.
Yeah.
You know how people like to leave negative comments or something.
Yeah.
I think there's something in humans that feed off of like it makes them feel good when people
Well, it could
are not
also
doing well.
be my head too.
Totally.
You know what I
for sure
mean?
it
Because
is.
like I'm very
Yeah.
sensitive. But it was, and I still to this day, I don't love the walk of shame. I know that they call it
What's the walk of shame?
The newcomer chip.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard for somebody with a lot of time to
Sure, to get up there.
to do that chip every single
30,
day
yeah.
for 30 days.
Yeah.
And when you're coming back, you're probably doing 2-3 meetings
Yeah.
a day trying to, it was rough.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't been in that position, but again, I've sponsored a lot of women
Sure.
who will sit next to me and be like, do I have to get up again? And I'm like, get your ass up there. Because, you know, as much as I don't understand being on that side, I do see the value in letting people know what's going on with you, even just by standing up and taking a chip, so that we are able to help you. We don't know to like be there for you if we don't know what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes you get out of yourself, because you can't just hide in the back.
It
of the
does
corner.
give you the
It gives
humility.
you-
that
for sure. You need it. Like, all of us our asses need to be humbled, because we clearly thought we were running the show. Hence, we ended up going there.
For sure.
None of us were winning. So it's like, yeah, it does like it's a nice humble slice of pie for sure. But it also lets others that are in that meeting know to maybe possibly reach out or call or check on you, especially in those first like 30 days that you're.
It's rough.
Yeah,
man.
it is rough.
It's rough. So what age did you start using?
12. I was 12 years old. Yeah. I probably had, I have a vague memory of my grandpa sitting, my dad was a single dad. So we also lived at grandma and grandpa's house for a while. And he was like, I remember him like letting me sip his beer when I was like maybe 5, you know, but like when I actually hit the ground running was 12. Yeah. I'll never forget that. It was like early, like maybe first few weeks of 6th grade.
Wow.
You know, like
You got me beat there too.
yeah. Like I was doing lines in the 8th grade bathroom.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it just
No,
off to the
9th
races
grade for
after
me.
that?
I mean, as much as it can be when you're that young and you don't have money of your
Yeah.
own or like
Yeah,
access
totally.
to things, but you would do weird things. Like you would, you know, or not you maybe, but me and my best friend, we would go way outside of 7-Eleven in the back alley and like find weird guys and be like, hey, will you buy us a beer? You know what I mean? We were freaking 13.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so bizarre because I see 13-year-olds now, 12, 13, and I'm just like, you are a baby, you know?
Totally.
It's just, it makes me sad thinking, like being sad for my younger self.
Sure.
You know? I grew up way too fast for my own good, but I'm kind of glad that it happened so that I can just get it out of the way real quick and then live out the rest of my life, hopefully, you know,
to your fullest potential instead of having to have this like constant cycle, which we all know and seen in meetings and even with ourselves to get to sobriety to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, I look at my mom, you know, and it's just like, girlfriend, aren't you tired?
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? But this disease does not discriminate. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter when you started. It doesn't matter any of
how you were raised.
That. Yeah, none
where
of
you
that
come
matters.
from. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I was pretty young.
Yeah, that is 6th grade. So 7th is when I started smoking pot,
Yeah.
and then the summer after 8th grade I did my first line of meth, and it was on and cracking.
Can I tell you my meth story?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
please.
Oh yeah.
You know, I was always resented a God that I didn't believe in, right? That's how but then I still had like this weird hope.
Sure.
You know? And so I remember walking back from like maybe freshman year of high school. I walked back home and I was with my friend and I saw a meth pipe just laid perfectly in a bush on my way home.
What?
Like
Oh my God,
someone
the odds.
maybe like
Yeah,
threw it,
totally.
brand new. Okay, brand new. And I was like, God wants me to smoke meth. I'm not even joking. I think I maybe even said that out loud. And in a few hours, I was doing meth. Like it was just that fast. You know what I mean? It wasn't like my main thing, but like
Yeah.
it was fun for a little bit.
What was your main thing? I don't recall.
Benzos and alcohol, I say, were my drug of choice just because they were the constant from 12 years old to 21. I don't think there was many days that I wasn't on one of those two things. But I've pretty much tried most party favors, I would say. But as far as like heroin goes, I like to say that I only smoked it once on accident.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. But I was the kind of girl that I would try anything, snort anything, swallow anything, and then ask what it was later, you know, and you can't do that anymore.
I know.
No.
But knowing that I'm that way,
Same.
that's why I work so hard at who I am and what I do today for my recovery, because you can't mess around like that anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
No, that and you know it's not fun out there. Like, when do you think when do you think the good times ended for you? Like, when did it become
early.
Yeah. I was
yeah,
like, damn.
like-
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
it is. I mean,
know?
but it's
How we just decide to we know what, like, some people say the definition of insanity is you know, thinking you're going to get different results of things, right? But like, what about knowing the outcome
I used to say
and
that all the
choosing to do
I know.
it?
I used to say that all the time in a meeting. I said the definition of insanity is it isn't doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The true definition is doing the same thing over and over again, knowing exactly,
Damn straight.
Oh yeah.
knowing
what's gonna
exactly what's going to happen, and you
That's
do it
an
anyways.
insane choice. You know?
That's a lot more insane, and that is the true insanity of
Yeah.
the disease of addiction.
Totally. It's like what you said.
But
with
it's
the
like
lies.
you lied to yourself
Yes.
because you pretend, you know how the tape's going to end. It's
Yeah.
just you pretend that it's not going to end that way.
Or you
and
just
then
don't care.
And you don't give a fuck. And so you
Yeah.
pick up.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Especially at a young age, you
Wild.
kind of think that you're invincible.
Yeah.
A little bit, you
and
know?
you think you know everything.
Yeah. And you think that it's just experimenting.
Is that,
and it's normal.
For me, I was miserable. I mean, I had anxiety when I was growing up. I was playing high-level hockey when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. I had stomach aches all the time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, for me, it was uncomfortable all the time. When I had that, you know, later on in life, when I had that first substance, I felt better. I mean, did you not feel better?
I felt better at first. I don't even know what from. I didn't think that I was like, yeah, I had a bad childhood, but like, I didn't feel like,
You've come, I think
That.
it's always feels like, oh, like when you first do it. And then that's what you're continuing, like,
yeah,
like
you're chasing the
constantly
dragon,
that.
you know, like
It never
it
happened.
was more not that I felt better, but that I felt, I
Sure.
felt it, you know, and I wanted to feel that way every single day for the rest of my life, because I was like, this is euphoria. Like, this is what
Yeah.
you're supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
That's
you know?
exactly what
Yeah.
I thought when I did that.
Yeah.
Pot didn't do it for me.
Cocaine
Like,
did it for me,
But when I did that first real line
Yeah.
of meth,
for sure.
and
You're like,
I
I fucking
mean,
arrived.
we didn't call it. I just want
This
to
is
be.
it.
I just want to be clear. It wasn't called meth in 1988 when
What
I
was
did
it called?
speed.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
yeah.
just called speed,
Yeah.
but nobody was like, "Yo,
Methamphetamine.
Yeah.
methamphetamine."
Yeah.
They were like, "Do you want some speed?" And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, "I'll try it."
Yeah.
I went to go buy some weed from my weed dealer. He was out, and he's like, "But I got some speed." And I was
Okay.
like, "All right." I was 13,
Yeah.
14, 13.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And I remember,
Yeah.
and my brain fucking
Yeah.
curled. It was like it curled.
You just
Totally.
did the
Totally.
perfect facial expression of exactly what happens to you your first hit. Like, that's exactly what happens.
And
It's
I was like, what
breaks.
you just said. I was like, woo.
Dude, same.
I was
Yeah.
so high that I didn't know I was high for like 2 days until I started coming down, and I hadn't slept in like 72 hours. And I was like,
And you're like, why
this
are the
is-
people
Yeah.
following me?
this is fucking
This
insane.
is fucking, yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I can do my homework.
Yep.
Oh my God, I was so good at school.
I
So
could
good
read
at
books.
I
Yeah.
could sit
My
still.
bedroom was clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
I'll never forget, like, I think it was like maybe 7th grade or something. And, you know, like I said, it's hard for young people
Sure.
to, unless you have a great connect like you did at that age. You know, I didn't. So I grew up in Palos Verdes, where like there was a lot of money floating around that area.
Yeah.
And like parents were gone all the time. And so I had this one friend who would steal pills from his mom. And so I was on Adderall every single day for probably a year, and my dad would be like, Lauren, I'm so proud of you. You're doing so well.
Wow.
Because I would be up until like 6 a.m. like doing my schoolwork,
All
you know,
cracked out.
cracked out.
Totally.
Totally. And so I thought like this is
That
this
was
is good for
fucking-
me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Totally.
What was like the big, I know you said you were in a blackout, but what was it that made you say, I need to
I mean,
help?
that's a great question, because I don't really know when that was, because I don't even remember asking for help. I don't even know if I would have been capable any time around that point in my life to raise my hand and wave the white flag, because I didn't really know there was help, you know? And that's why what you guys are doing is so important, because people need to know that there is another life, you know, that you can still be young and cool and like, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And be clean and be happy, you know, that there is just another way of living. I had no idea, because my experience was seeing people like my mom where recovery wasn't working for her.
Yeah.
So I thought, right? And so I do remember after getting clean, I went back to my grandma's house in the little pantry, and I just got like, you know, some of my clothes and my laptop and things like that. And I had like this big old clunky laptop. It was like this big. Yeah. And I pulled it up and I saw a diary entry. I didn't write in a diary. And I saw this diary entry of like the last couple weeks before I got sober. And it was this whole crazy written thing of just me saying that my own mind wants me dead and something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
You know, and like looking back now, knowing what I know about this disease, the obsession, the physical allergy, all the parts of this disease, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I was catching on and like seeing those and feeling those things. So I think it would have maybe come soon at some point, but probably by emergency situation, not by me being like, I need help.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I wonder, you know, I actually wonder what the statistic is on people just raising their hand and saying, I need help, because mine was always an external force that forced me to wave the red flag.
Yeah,
Mine usually came in the form of the Orange County Sheriff's Department and jail. And then a judge was like, okay, we've had enough. You're about to do a long prison term, so you make a choice today.
Is drug court still a thing?
I'm a graduate.
Oh, nice.
Does it still is? It's still okay.
Yeah, it's
Not as
it's as good as it's always been. It's just that after they passed Prop 36, which basically defelonized drugs.
Oh, right.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah,
because you're not even on felony probation.
Yeah.
Like everything was like, you're a felon.
Yeah.
You're on felony probation. Yeah. You violate, you're going to jail.
Yep.
So how about drug court?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So I think drug court, I think all these things are great.
I've seen it work wonders in
Different avenues, bro.
Yeah.
Just you need 100 different avenues for the 1,000 people who are going to get sober.
You do.
Because only 10%.
But just writing people tickets on the side of the road.
No bueno.
It's not.
No.
It's not.
Not effective.
It's not effective.
No, it's not.
There is something that you guys are supposed to, I don't ever, not political in any way, but there is something on the ballot right now that if you have been ticketed a certain amount of times,
it leads to a felony.
It leads to a felony.
Yeah, that's what I heard
really?
too. Yeah. 3, I think.
Ticketed for what?
Ticketed
Possession?
Yeah.
Possession.
Yeah.
Oh.
Drug possession is like they don't. When I was growing up, I went to jail for a piece of meth that big, and it was my first felony. 18 years old.
Yeah.
That's just so wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not on my record anymore because of Prop 36. I will say that helped. But I had other stuff on there that, still a convicted felon, unfortunately, or fortunately. Not sure.
I just think it's interesting how even myself, someone with this disease, didn't view it as a disease for so long. As society, we're made out to be these, convicts and these bad people, where I like to think that, yes, I did some bad things, of course, but I was sick, and I really needed help. And I think a lot of what I did was a cry for help. A lot of the behaviors that I, and like the actions that I took. And so it makes me sad that even like our government, it's like, there's just we need more access to help.
Sure.
I think.
I'll tell you who is a big advocate for addiction and recovery is RFK Jr. He has 42 years heroin sobriety
I didn't know
And
that.
goes
and
to
goes to meetings
every
every day. Every day.
Who knew?
We didn't.
You guys.
We know because we
You
just did
guys.
a round table with them,
Oh,
and it was
really?
like
Yeah.
one of the coolest experiences because
That is
I knew he was sober. I gained so much respect from him listening to him because dude speaks recovery like we all do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's a common denominator
is.
between us all, you know?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
there's a lot of us out there, man. A lot of sober people
I know.
doing amazing things. Like we got some guy coming on the podcast, and he's like the vice president of what's that Camping World.
RV
yeah.
World or camping.
No,
yeah,
Camping World.
Camping
yeah.
World.
He's coming on the podcast. He's fucking a meth head like me.
Nice.
Like what? How does
I
a
love
meth-
that.
You know what I mean?
But
How-
see, even more to my point of that we can go from
Exactly.
like bottom of the barrel to like so successful in so many different ways in life.
for
Like I
sure.
love to hear the rags to riches stories. Like
Always.
that.
like
love
what's
it.
it? That's the best stories in the world.
I love it. 'Cause
I mean,
it gives so
everybody
much hope.
loves those types of movies and TV shows too.
Totally.
How
But
many
they
people are-
also like to watch people fall.
Oh yes, of course. But that's
Especially on reality
yes.
TV.
Well, in life in general, I think
Yeah.
people just like to watch someone crumble.
Yeah.
Like look at how the media just tears anybody that falters a little bit.
Yeah.
When
Were you
in
thinking
act-
of P. Diddy right now? When you were-
no,
No, I was actually, you know who I was thinking,
I'm
when
thinking
you
of
said that is that, who's that guy from One Direction that like,
totally Liam Payne.
Yes,
Dude,
yes.
his shit's a tragedy, man.
Oh my God.
Like-
Everyone's just I hate it. Like I hate
Wait,
it.
who's that? The guy
He
that
just
just
Fell out
died?
the window.
Yeah.
Fell out
He
the
didn't
window.
fall, bro.
Yeah, he
They
fell.
gave him that pink. He had that pink cocaine,
cocaine,
and you
yeah.
know what?
Yeah.
That pink cocaine. Just want to be clear with everybody. That ain't cocaine.
No, it's nothing.
There's
nothing-
no
there's
cocaine in
coke
pink
there at all.
cocaine.
Everything else, though.
Yeah.
Everything else.
I feel so old because like I don't know what any of these new things are.
It's crazy,
know?
and they keep it's just like
Yeah.
funneling in
No
here.
one
Like I
knows.
sponsored when fentanyl first became a thing. Like I sponsored this girl who like where fentanyl was her drug of choice.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yep.
like and she's using all these nicknames and words like blue and this and that. And I'm just like, girlfriend, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I feel so old right now and so
right.
disconnected from, but I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot because I'm just like, it is so scary out there.
You
So
would
what
have died.
is
You would have died.
100%?
so you
I
know.
will die if I don't keep doing what I do on a
Exactly.
daily basis. I will.
That,
No
because those benzos that you were grabbing
Are not even benzos.
Those aren't
anymore.
even
Yeah.
benzos.
I
Or the
know.
Adderall, not
Yeah.
even Adderall.
Not Adderall.
I know. Yeah.
What pink cocaine?
Yeah. What is that?
It's everything but pink cocaine. But cocaine. I mean, it can have fentanyl,
Okay.
meth.
So like basically like what ecstasy was, just like
Oh yeah, you're right,
hodgepodge, 'cause
dude.
was
It
just
is a
drugs.
hodgepodge. You're right.
It's a hodgepodge
Yeah.
of drugs.
Because then it could be cut
You're
with
right.
anything. Like I always had like meth based ecstasy.
Yeah.
And then one time, it was not meth based. It
Yeah.
was mescaline based. Whoa. Worst experience of my entire life. But like, yeah. So it's just like that, but in snorting form, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But then that's so scary because they could cut anything.
Oh my god,
Everything.
and they are.
Well, and the thing is that, fentanyl, just illicit fentanyl, 1 grain of salt
Yeah.
is
Wow.
potentially deadly.
Wow.
So 2 grains of salt and you are dead. And then there's a
So
carfentanil out there. It's called carfentanil.
Oh.
It's 100 times more
100, yeah.
powerful than
Fentanyl.
heroin.
Yeah. And 1,000
50
times
yeah.
or something. More.
And Narcan doesn't work on it most of the time.
Really?
Yeah, it's bad out there.
You know, now at my local Alano club, like they have Narcan in every single office countertop. Like it's just all over. And I'm like, thank God, thank God. When the ex who caught on fire. So one time he knocked over in the middle of the night and I woke up because I was like, what's that sound? He like fell into like a closet or something. And he was stiff, blue, not breathing. And so I was giving him CPR, calling
gosh.
the ambulance, right? And the ambulance comes in and they're like, what is he on? What is he on? And I'm like, we're sober. Like an idiot, right? And they're like, bullshit, what's he on? And I was just like, I genuinely thought like, we're both sober. Like this is, I don't know what's happening. He's clearly like having a heart attack or a stroke or something. Then they Narcaned his ass and he just woke
my
up and I was
God.
like, you mother effer.
Wow.
Yeah. But ever since then, I've always carried it with me because like I have so many girls that I sponsor. I'm always around, people in the program. Like you just never know, even random strangers, you never know if something's going to happen at a grocery store.
Have you seen anybody like nodded off on the side of the road?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to jump out and just Narcan them real quick?
My first sponsor told me that I was Captain Save-A-Ho because I would just like go around trying to save everybody because it worked so well in my life that I wanted everyone to have a piece of like what I felt. But then I realized that you just cannot want something for someone more than they want it for themselves because you drive yourself crazy. Absolutely crazy.
And they're not listening.
No.
Especially when they're not ready. It's like,
I know.
It's
So-
tough.
22, right? 22 you got.
No, 21. You're 20. She's 21.
I'm 22.
You're 22. I'm 23.
I was literally a month from being 23, but I was still 22.
I was a month from being 22.
Okay.
So same.
But from 18, when did it really get bad? Like,
I mean, I just told you that I'm really into benzo, so I don't remember a lot. Most of my
you graduate
teens-
high school?
No.
No?
No, I woke up one day and I realized, because I left my house when I was 16, right? My dad and I didn't have a good relationship. I left my house. I was couch surfing. And then I ended up like living at like a boyfriend's house in Redondo Beach for, his family's house and somehow wiggled my way in there for a little bit. But then I woke up one day and I realized like, oof, like school's starting for most people. And like, I'm so far behind. I was great at school. I was not great at showing up to school.
Yeah.
I don't think my entire sophomore year, I don't ever think that I went in on a Monday ever. Seriously. And so, I was just so far behind that, like getting into my senior year, it already started. And I was just thinking like, I'm so far behind, like this is never going to happen. I tried continuational school for a second. But then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go get my GED. Thank God I did when I did, because I just took the test and passed it,
Yeah.
Oh,
and because I literally dropped out of high school in like honors classes. Like I was smart, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just, like when people used to always tell me like, oh gosh, you're just wasting your potential, and I would be like, screw you. But I was, I took it so offensively, but like they were just calling a spade a spade.
Not easy when you're in it.
Yeah, it's not. And it's hard to see it. Yeah,
It's impossible.
Yeah.
for sure.
What did your dad think of everything and how you totally just completely changed?
Skin the cat.
So the Filipino community or culture is very sweep everything under the rug. We don't talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
I have another cousin who's still dealing with this disease. And, like we just don't talk about it. You just say like, oh, that's just how he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I first got clean, I disappeared. My dad was taking care of my grandma. I lived at grandma's house. And I was just gone for like 2 weeks. And that was pretty normal for me though. But then I call him because my mom was like, I was moving into sober living. I was getting off her couch. And she was like, you need to call your dad, probably. Like, let him know that you're alive. And I was like, okay. So then I call him and I tell him, hey, Dad, I'm at my mom's, who I haven't seen or spoken to in 10 years at this point. And he was like,
wild.
okay. And I was like, she's sober and I think I have a problem and I think I'm going to go get help. And my dad was just literally like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. Bye. Like that's just kind of how the culture is. Like you just don't really want to talk about it, which is why I think that I would have never raised my hand to ask for help because like we just didn't do that. We didn't talk about feelings. We didn't talk about what was going on with us. When I was like maybe 14, I had one of those beds with like drawers underneath and storage under, and the middle section went like this, and I put all my shoes there. But then I also put all my paraphernalia in there because we never talked about anything. So like, he wasn't going to go through my stuff. He went through my stuff and he put Post-it notes on everything. Like, what is this? And aren't these my cigarettes? And whatever. Right. And I was scared straight for like 2 weeks. I didn't touch any of it because I was like, he's going to know.
Yeah.
But then after some time I was like, well, he's not talking to me about it. We're not having any discussion other than a Post-it note or two.
Yeah.
So clearly he doesn't care enough, and I'm going to keep doing it, you know, and that was just kind of our relationship. It still is that way a little bit, where like he doesn't like we don't have these great open conversations about my recovery, but I'm very open about it.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about it. I tell him when it's my sobriety birthdays, because those mean way more to me than anything else or any other milestones in my life today, you know? So I do talk about it. My other side of my family, my mom's side, I've always been very close with her siblings and her sisters. Like, we're like moms to me. So they all know what's up. Like, and it's such a blessing now too, because I was so far removed from anything family and like wholesome and like, you know, and so now like getting to be the responsible one and show up and host Christmas and, you know, at my house, it's like, it's such a cool thing that I get to show up for those people in my life today. So it's still a little bit weird with my dad, but that's okay.
Yeah,
That's okay.
for sure.
It's nice to answer the phone all the time.
Yeah, you're
and be
dependable.
okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
People can rely on you.
Consistency.
So weird.
Yeah.
Even 12 years in, you know, it's like, wow, I am that person today.
Yeah, it's
aren't
called
I?
Lauren. She's stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you, at least for me, like I told my husband recently, I was like, we need to stop being such good people because everyone wants us to do all the things for them. And it's exhausting sometimes, you know? But then that's on me because I need to create better boundaries for myself.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So then now that your life is super full, I know that you had mentioned possibly another season, maybe depending on if they get picked up or what. Would you go back if they...
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of like a toxic relationship.
Sure.
Where you are like incapable of being the one to leave, but you kind of want them to break up with you.
Right.
You know? So as it stands right now, I don't know, but I can say that I'm not at my best potential. And I feel like I've taken this risk and I'm so grateful for the opportunities.
Sure.
Sometimes it was really fun and it's something that I will always remember. You know, there's other perks that like I had an invitation. I went to Kathy Hilton's house for a Christmas party last year.
Yeah.
Like that's cool. You know, like I've done fun things, but at the end of the day, I'm not where I would like to be.
Sure.
Was Paris there?
No, but
Who's Kathy Hilton?
the other sister was.
Oh, yeah.
Nikki.
Yeah. She's stunning.
Yeah.
I just started following Paris Hilton
Yeah,
the
so
other
did
day.
I like her.
I like her
I followed
a lot.
her for a long
She
time.
looks
all,
great.
All of a sudden, she popped up in my Instagram feed, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot about her."
She's old school.
And now I'm like, "Oh, she's kind of fucking cool now.
she
She
is.
like grew up."
Yeah.
Yes.
She's got a couple of kids, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks
because she's
great.
being herself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's finally being herself, and she's advocating
man,
for.
she got fucking
Yeah.
Yeah.
The, like,
brutalized, huh?
Yeah, and what an amazing thing for someone with such a public
For
stance
sure.
to be able to talk about some of the most vulnerable, traumatic things that have ever happened to you, in order to maybe help another person.
for sure.
Like
Yeah.
that is
She's using her voice and her
Totally.
platform.
Yeah.
In,
Give her
in
so
such
much
a
And she's
positive
crushing
manner.
it in business.
Oh yeah, she's
Didn't
been.
Yeah.
She
dad-
had been.
Her dad die?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Something happened. They, you know, she didn't have. They didn't give her anything.
No, she's
She
a
balled out.
billionaire on like years ago. She has
Yeah.
multiple, from her perfume line to purses,
Her show,
just like
all
yeah,
the
all the
things.
things.
Yeah.
Is her.
She just
Savage.
did a
DJing.
at
Oh
the-
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. That's another huge
She
financial
probably
gain on
gets
hers.
paid. I want.
Oh,
I would
for
love.
sure.
million.
I would love to know.
It's $1 million.
Ugh.
It's $1 million bucks.
Maybe I should be a DJ. I'm in the wrong business, guys.
I know. So what is it? Will you? So how does it work? Are you now? If you don't you don't do the show,
Yeah.
If they get picked up, do you then not work for the?
Oppenheim Group. We not a lot of people know this, but there's actually quite a bit of agents at our office. We have like maybe 30 agents at our office and only, 10 of us
Sure.
on the show. So yeah, you don't have to be on the show
Okay.
to work at our office. Yeah.
So then you would still just continue working normally, or
We'll see.
not? Yeah.
Yeah.
What brokerage does your husband work at?
He works at Compass.
Okay.
I have considered, and he and I
that's a
have
good one,
considered
huh?
like,
I've heard that one.
No, Compass is a great company at first when they first started, because they're a tech company that sells real estate, right? That is a brokerage, but tech was like their initial thing, which was innovative, and their marketing is sexy and it appeals to a younger, cooler audience. You know what I mean? Than like the old school, like, Redfin and, all that stuff. And so it's a great company. I love that my husband's happy there and all that, but like, we're already both in the same business and we talk about business together all the time. And it's just like, I just don't know if that's the move, to ever work with him, but we've considered it. And, we've said like maybe someday in the future we would do something together, but we'll see.
It depends. Yeah. I did it in my first marriage and it worked great.
Worked with your spouse?
Yeah. You guys have to, you have to take some time where you do something that doesn't involve work. And like for us, and because I worked with my family, we started Hope by the Sea. And so it was me, my mom, my dad, my ex-wife.
Yeah.
And like the whole dynamic of the family changed. Like Christmas dinner, we're still talking about, and this is a business that's never closes. It's open 24/7. So we have customers all the time, even on Christmas Day, and staff that's working, and drama happens. But we also had season seats to the Lakers.
Sure.
So like when we went to the Laker games, we were like, this is our family time. This is like, we don't talk about work.
But it's also different too, Element, because your family and you guys own this. And so if you guys owned your own business and went into it together, it'd be different, but it would be working at an establishment where you both have bosses. And so that's where I feel like it could get a little bit dicier.
Do you have bosses in the real estate?
Technically, we are 1099 independent contractors. But my husband's on a team. So like technically in his scenario, there's like a team lead, I guess you would call it. But if we were to work together, it would essentially be like our own thing. But yeah, I just still don't know if I want that right now.
Yeah. And then if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah. Because the thing is like, we just have such a great relationship.
And you're trying for a kid now.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's talk about that a little bit. How's that going?
That is not going as expected.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm happy to talk about it because I think it's just like something that not a lot of women, hear other women talk about. But like I've been dealing with infertility for like a little over 2 years now. And I've had a lot of girlfriends have infertility issues. And so when my husband and I first started trying, I think he had like the typical like male response of like, oh, first time and whatever, And I told him like, I tried to explain like how the body works and like all the perfect things that need to happen. And he's like, well, then how come people get pregnant so young? And I'm like, because they're just like 4 times more fertile than I am at 34 years old. You know what I mean? At 20, I think you're like literally 4 times more fertile than you're in 30s. Don't fact check me on that, please, guys, because something like
we
that.
don't fact check it all around here. We know that 72.5% of all statistics are made up anyways.
I've heard that. Yeah, so it's just been a whole process. We are open to all avenues of trying. Right now we're at a fertility clinic, but like I've literally had like 4 surgeries to deal with my infertility in the last year. And we're shelling out cash because it is not covered by insurance. And we're putting all of our time and effort and love into this right now. And so it's just being in recovery, like you have to change your perspective, right? You have to find the gratitude and everything. And I've been there 99% of this infertility journey. Thank God, because that's what I've been taught. And like now it's almost automatic. But now it's starting to like kind of get to me a little bit. I think because I've had such a rough couple months with like losing my sponsee, and then like all these other things have happened in my life and infertility stuff. Like we did a couple rounds of IUI, which is like basically like the turkey baster method.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Like the step, most fertility doctors want you to do that first before doing IVF because it's way less invasive and way more cost effective. And so had a couple failed rounds of that. And, you know, I looked at my husband the last time and I was like, we need to manifest this child because we are starting to slip into negatively speaking about, oh, I didn't feel like that was you know, a good round or like whatever. And like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you're speaking that into existence. And I was like, I don't want to be like so woo woo, but like a little woo woo over here, you know? And I was like, we need to speak positively and like have positive affirmations about this.
Yeah, but what I want to say, or what I want to tell you is my aunt had trouble. She did the IVF. She ended up having one child and then twins.
Wow. Yeah.
My brother had another lady carry the egg and the sperm.
The surrogate.
So it might not be how you want it.
Totally.
But there's
We're so open.
There's miracles out there with medicine in the world. So
Totally.
Just don't be stuck in a corner where you say, well, I wanted that. You know what I mean? Just whatever.
Yeah. Like, do I have a preference?
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
But like we're open to adoption.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 100%. We just want a family because we have so much love to give and like we have a great life now and we want to share that. You know? And so we're open to all of it. We're just kind of going through the motions.
Yeah.
You know, going through the motions. But I think, you know, that's just part of becoming more successful in life, not just like financially, but like in terms of like mentally. Relationship and we're so emotionally ready, you know, for this that it's like, okay, these are just some of the challenges that I get to go through because I'm at a point in life where I'm ready for it all. You know?
And here's the thing, everyone's got to pay the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to pay.
Yeah.
You got to pay to play. And you're paying right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like you're right. Like if people can call it woo-woo or whatever you want, but it is negative or positive, however you want to like refer to it, energy, because my sponsee kind of went through the same kind of situation. And then as soon as it was like right before she was going to start, I think IVF, I think that's the last stop, right? When you start like doing the shots and that whole process. Yeah. Before she and her husband went that avenue, she just like kind of almost like let it go and just wasn't so stressed because of like, then your cortisol spiked. You're like, you're wanting it too much and you're just
which is so crazy because just even stressing a little bit about something can change your hormones.
Oh yeah. Yes.
To where it just doesn't work. And when, as women, we don't even know fully what happens in our bodies and what needs to perfectly be in sync at certain points to get pregnant. It is truly a miracle. It is truly a miracle. And it's like, it's just so mind boggling because I had no idea. Like I've learned a lot about my own body, you know, through this process.
But as soon as she let kind of the stress of it or like the, I guess, I don't want to say wanting because I don't think that I'll ever like leave you. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like the negative connotation to it. She ended up getting pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been so many moments like that where people have told me different stories of like, oh, you know, the moment you schedule a fertility doctor appointment is when you get pregnant. So we were like, okay, great. Let's schedule that right away. You know, didn't get pregnant, you know? You know, someone else said like, oh, we did acupuncture and immediately got pregnant. A lot of my girlfriends have that story. And so we did that. Nothing, you know, but I had certain like abnormalities within myself that had to be fixed that like no amount of like stress relief or acupuncture was going to fix. And so I had to get those things fixed before we can actually like start over again. Totally. You know, essentially. But as much as like I appreciate people sharing their hope. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to punch a person in the face. Of course. You know, like
you're like, fuck you. It's not happening, dude.
Because one person was like, oh, have you ever tried to eat a Brazil nut once a day? Oh, and I was like, first of all, yes, I actually do that because I will try anything. Sure. You know, but that's not going to fix the problem. You know, every person's infertility has different underlying reasons or issues, you know, and like it starts to wear on you when people like start to tell you, oh, do this or try this and try that, and like and I find it very, very similar to how it feels when you talk to another alcoholic or addict, where it's like when you talk to somebody who understands, all of a sudden you can joke about it, you can talk about it freely, you know what I mean? But it's interesting with infertility because I didn't think that I was like sensitive.
Sure.
I wouldn't have, called myself a sensitive person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I do enjoy hearing people's success stories, and I'm on all the Reddit forums hearing about, people having, all these failed attempts, and then this time they, you know what I mean? Because you just never know. And I do believe it's in God's timing. So
Yeah.
I just like to control stuff
For sure.
so much, I love control.
Maybe he's just waiting for you to give it up.
Yeah.
I know.
Like that's what I was thinking in my head. I'm thinking like, oh, this is God basically you running out doing the acupuncture.
Yeah.
God's like, that ain't gonna work.
I am
My-
so type A.
It's
My,
yeah.
My ex-wife and I, we have a son, and we wanted a boy because I had a girl and she had two from previous relationships, and we read this book called How to Choose the Sex of Your Child, and
Tell me it's like just tell me. I'm not gonna say it.
oh, it's a lot of work that both of us had to do because
Is it like diet?
I
Is
choose the
it-
sex, right? my sperm makes
Yes.
the sex of the child.
Yes.
So there
was a lot on you.
Well, there was stuff on her too, but for me, there was a lot on me. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't have sex for, let's just call it that. I had to build up as much reserves as possible. I couldn't go to the gym because going to the gym kills sperm.
Yep.
So no sweating. So I did it was just a week, just 1 week. And then she had to figure out exactly when she was ovulating, as close as possible. And then she had to get rid of the acidity in her body by using Robitussin.
Oh,
What?
Mucinex? Isn't it Mucinex?
It was Robitussin back then.
Robitussin.
Yeah.
People are doing the Mucinex method.
So it makes the vaginal canal non-acidic.
Wait, but by just like, drinking it?
So at least from what I understand, the Mucinex, when taken during ovulation, I believe, it actually changes the consistency of your
Vaginal
Juices.
stuff. Yeah.
Like
yes.
Your
Of the-
juices.
Yes.
Wow.
Because that's
I think it's the
issue.
DM or something like that. It's
cervical mucus.
Yeah.
is
So
what it is, if we want to get
There's the word.
so she had to
She
do,
said it.
she had to
Cervical.
do that. And I'm surprised you hung in there so well.
he's not.
I'm like a cat right now. I'm like a cat on the ready to meow.
But yeah.
Anyway, so she did that, and then right before we did it,
On the right side or left side? Were you on what side or?
Oh my God.
I had to drink a cup of black coffee.
No, say it ain't so,
Swear to
Joe.
fucking God.
and
Weird.
stand upside down.
And
A cup of
she had
black coffee?
It had to be
Do
upside
the hokey
down.
pokey.
Yeah, it was upside down.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Swear to God.
That's great. My fertility doctor, we're already so TMI into this.
Yeah.
My fertility doctor always makes like
Have fun.
such a dad joke.
Have fun.
I mean, that's what we did for the first year and a half. Then it stops being so.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know.
right?
It becomes like a goddamn job.
Yeah, no, and I love my husband so much.
Yeah,
but
of
it's
course,
just like
of
the stress
course.
of it all, kind of just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my fertility doctor says, oh, if you want a girl, lay flat, and then if you want a guy, a boy, raise your knees, like when you're waiting after you being inseminated.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then he's just like, just kidding, and walks out the door, and I'm just
He's
like,
not kidding. Because male sperm, they swim faster.
yes,
But they
die
but
sooner.
They die sooner.
Yes.
And the women are really strong when they just cruise through there. Just boop, 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 boop. And the men are like, yeah, let's go. Woo!
So if you
know what I'm
actually
saying?
time it based on when you think ovulation is going to happen, because the swimmers can live 3 to 5 days in there. And so if you like do the deed like 3 or 5 days before, because the female sperms live longer, you can have a girl better that way. But if you want a boy, they say to do it closer to ovulation.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how like real all that is, but like
Pretty real.
I also eat a Brazil nut every day. So I mean, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like it is bizarre how when you're young, you have like a lot of,
You sneeze and you get pregnant.
I know.
Yeah.
And then but I really think has a lot to do with when you're young, you have no care, you're just like out living life, like, woo, like life is good. And then when you're like actually ready, you have so much pressure, which is like causing so much stress on the body without you realizing it's causing stress on the body. And then obviously I'm sure age plays a factor too, but it is wild to hear the amount of stories from somebody that's like 20 and then someone that's actually married and ready to have children at 30, you know?
For sure. Wild. And especially, you know, it's like, it's frustrating because even though my husband's a normie, like both of us have worked so hard to get to like where we are in life right now to be ready to give everything to our child. All the, you know, we have more emotional intelligence, more love to give, more, you know, an established home for them. Like now that we have that, it's like, well, it took a little too long and now it's like, you know, a problem. And so that's just like the frustrating part of it all is like, gosh, like we're ready. We're so ready. And then like I see people who are very not, you know, getting pregnant. And I'm just like, what the heck? But that's okay.
It'll happen.
I know that it will.
For sure.
I have no doubts about that. Again, I just have control issues.
Yeah, of course.
Like bad.
Yeah.
You know, and I want things when I want things. And it's just like, I wish I wasn't like that. And I wish that there was like, you know, I even started getting back into like Al-Anon and like doing more in my program. And I'm, you know, doing more work on my own self and doing more inventories because I find myself not working the steps in this area of my life. And I'm just like, oh, okay, fine.
Good for you though, for doing that. Cause it's definitely stressful because it's a monumental moment in a marriage to have a child. And so you're taking a lot of that stress on yourself, which could be a slippery slope for someone that is in the program.
For sure. But I was always taught to double your efforts when you're going through any kind of transitional or changing moment in life, you know, like even when I first decided to do the show, my sponsor told me like, you have to get 2 new sponsees minimum, and we're starting your steps over again. And I was like, ugh, you know, I already had like 9 years in. I was like, fine. But even though I do it begrudgingly, sometimes, you know, I still do the things because that's what got me here.
Oh, good for you.
You know? So you have to.
You have to.
You have to.
I always bitch and complain about anything that
I will constantly complain.
But I'm
still going to do it.
I know. And like, that's what's like so
be
crazy.
A brat about it.
Yeah. Is knowing like, I know that like this is good.
Yeah.
And I should. And I'll bitch and complain, but then I do.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, the good stuff comes from doing the stuff that we don't want to do.
Of course. And it builds.
Just in life in general, not just like in the program, but like, you know, like
getting out of your comfort zone.
Getting out of your comfort zone. Getting up in front of people and talking.
I know that's something you hate to do.
It is. And you know, but using my voice.
Yeah.
How fucking powerful is that?
And your experience.
In my experience,
sure.
I have, you know, unfortunately sometimes a little bit too much experience. And I don't want other people I don't think other people have to go through that far to be like, I'm a knucklehead. How about I just take the what's actually the easier, softer route. It's just a little bit more rocky at the start.
Yeah.
But it took me even a long time to figure that out in recovery, you know, to learn from other people's mistakes.
And that is why they say progress, not perfection.
No kidding. But if you keep doing the things just as intensely as like when you first get clean, you continue that. If anything, like I might even do more for my recovery than when I first started. But if that's all I have to do, like answer my phone to girls who ended up being my friends, you know, like show up to a meeting sometimes, like hang out after the meeting and just like chit chat. Like those are like the small things that I have to do. Take like a 10-minute inventory at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not be an asshole.
Yeah, totally.
You hear these things?
At
well,
at first it's a whole mountain to climb.
I'm taking notes.
Huh? Think about it.
I'm taking notes, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't have to just you know stay a little 10 minutes extra.
No.
It seems like a really, really big task list to do at first. But then when, you know, just like anything, you know, that you want, you know, if you want a certain goal at the gym, right? Like there's steps to getting there, right? And habits to form along the way, right? It's the same kind of a thing. Now that I have these habits, like Wednesday night is my, you know, home group meeting, and I don't care what time, and, you know, I can have so many other things going on, but I just automatically go, you know, no matter what. I could have a migraine, whatever, I'm there. And I sit in the same dang seat every week for 12 years, you know? And it's just like what you have to do, because it doesn't seem like, it seems like a lot at first, but then now it's not a lot for the life that I get to live
100%.
today.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
The life that I get to live.
Totally.
Because if I compare this life that I get to live right now, I'm going to compare yours. Compare this life that you get to live right now to that pantry, massage table, blacked out, drunk person. It's not even comparable.
It's not. It's night
not
and day.
even the same person.
And that's why I think I feel so comfortable talking about my past, even to, you know, I'm in a business where it's like you're talking to very wealthy people who are very successful, who ask you where you went to undergrad. Meanwhile, I'm a high school dropout. You know what I mean? Like there's just this different level of clientele that I have, but I talk about it so freely because I'm so far removed from that girl, and I'm
they're
so
just as
different.
fucked up.
And everyone's
It don't matter
human.
where you're from. And if anything,
yeah.
it makes them want to work with you because
be
of
like-
the
Exactly.
honesty and like, oh damn, she's
I went
a
to
real
the-
person.
I went to the
You know?
Yale
Well, at least
that's
the kind of
huge.
person that we want to work with.
Exactly.
Yale College, not the
Exactly.
university, but Yale College, County Yale College.
County Yale.
Yale, you know Yale if you jail.
Trying to be funny with like jail, Yale in a accent.
I
Okay,
like how you can actually pick up
Yeah.
what he's laying down, because I was
I
like,
went
what are you
to
talking
I went
about?
to
Yeah,
I
you're
went
like,
to, I
huh?
went- I went to Penn State. I mean the state Penn.
Penitentiary.
Crazy. He's a crazy one.
You
Can't make
do
this
you have
shit
any
up.
dad jokes?
No, really.
I'm a fucking dad.
No.
I am a dad. I'm like probably the crazy thing is like the older I get, the more
More
like,
loony you
like
get.
nerdy I'm
The
getting.
funnier it is, though, honestly. Like, I keep feeling like, okay, we're really close to getting pregnant, because
Yeah.
I'm coming out
Oh,
with
yeah.
the mom jokes hard. I was like, God is preparing me for parenthood, because it's just like the cornier it gets and like the funnier it is. I hate to admit that.
It's really sad for me now though, because see, I was kind of a younger dad, and then now I'm an older dad. Because my last child is 16 and I'm 50, and so like I'm not cool anymore. Like my other kids, I was still kind of cool.
Okay.
So he thinks.
This
yeah.
He thinks.
I don't
In
care.
his head.
I don't
In
care
his
how
head.
old you are. Like,
this
I
one
feel
right
like
here,
most kids are just kind of like,
Yeah.
with my parents.
Oh, for sure.
she does not.
Want anything to do with you?
No,
Oh.
I'm not cool.
Yeah. I have like cousins who are not that young, much younger than me, but they're Gen Z. And literally everything I do, how I dress, I'm just seeking their approval. And I'm like, tell me I'm cool, because I swear I am.
If you want to seek their approval, go out and get yourself some Pro Club sweats. Yeah,
Okay.
Pro Clubs are back in
Okay.
style.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely, yeah.
You know what
Gotta
I'm
get the
on?
makes
ba-
fun
you
of-
gotta get
Emily
the
makes fun of my
baggy.
jeans all the time because I wear skinny jeans. Not today, but she's like, those are so out. I'm like, well, not in my closet. I can't do it.
You know?
know?
But now they're trying to bring
Mold.
back low-rise jeans.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I want him to bring
Good.
back the guy stuff with the short tops,
The, what?
See,
The
I- they-
Crocs?
crop tops for men.
I don't know.
The thing
guys
is
aren't
that-
in shape
that- you know
anymore.
what,
You
that-
can't wear them.
The thing is those were cool back in the 80s
Yeah,
when
when everyone was in
like
shape.
guys were when guys were like real fucking manly.
Yeah.
You know, and thin. and,
Yes.
you know.
So guys wore crop tops to school?
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
Never
yeah.
saw
Back
that.
in the day.
Never
That's,
saw
be-
one.
you-
Sure.
that's because
Never saw one.
Same.
that's because you guys
Never.
are not
Yeah.
even close to old enough.
Like-
I'm too young, but my brother,
Who's more my age?
who's Shane's age, 57,
Ooh, don't say that out loud, bro.
57.
Come on, man.
Why? You look fucking unbelievable. You look like you're 42.
Wait, how old are you?
57.
No, you're not. Stop.
Sad.
Stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
No.
Tell me
Stop
more.
it
right now.
Stop you.
Tell me more.
You.
Tell me more.
What's your ethnicity?
You Jewish and Indian.
Okay.
There's no Indian. He's fucking Jew.
My dad was Indian.
Okay.
100%.
Well, now we're
He
getting
was
off on a
like
whole nother
50,
tangent.
60% Indian.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
How much?
50% Indian. His grandma was.
Is it Cree?
His grandma. It's Cree.
is
His
it
grandma
Well,
was. His
'cause
grandma was
my mom,
native.
my
yes.
mom's like half Mexican, and I consider myself like
Mexican.
Mexican.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, so
I consider myself all Jewish.
mm,
Yeah, I just threw that in there.
okay.
Because
Mess.
he's a Shane is a mess.
Meth.
Well, congratulations to you on everything.
you.
And
Yeah,
where you're
good
at.
luck with the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And that. We'll
You're
be
gonna have to
praying
come
for it,
back.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I'll
Especially
come
with
back
the-
with a big
with-
old
yes.
bump, and I'll
That'd
have
be
to.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That,
See, that'd be nice.
No,
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yes.
Power in the tongue, baby.
Well, so
I
that's
actually
okay.
can
Right.
feel
Yes.
it too. I feel
It's
that
coming.
Right?
You're
it's gonna
ready.
happen for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
need this good juju.
It is.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah.
It's just such a
She
journey.
said you
you know?
twice.
And tell those bitches that want to give you about the Brazilian nuts and the other.
Is that
take a hike.
offensive? Did
That's
you
not
take that offensive,
No, when
buddy?
you say juju, it's good.
But yeah,
You know what I mean?
you're coming back with a baby bump.
Yes.
That'd be
Period.
awesome. That's a date.
Yes.
As soon
Yes.
as soon as you're showing, we're gonna have you back
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Shane.
Okay.
You're
I
a
love
good
that.
juju.
on. Thank you. Thank you very
Messes.
much.
All
But
right.
thank you so much.
And you're
Thank
a
you guys for
mess.
having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.